My name is Bob Voss, and I'm actually the business entrepreneur instructor at Dakota County Technical College. And I see some familiar faces in here because one of the things I do about 8 to 10 times a month, I go to a workforce center and I give a free talk over 2.5 hours on how to start a business. Because I believe that everybody should have their own small business. And a lot of the businesses that are starting today are in fact part-time businesses. So I've kind of made it my mission, my purpose, whatever you want to call it, to get everybody in their own small business. And over the last 4 years, I've done a free talk at a workforce center about 350 times. And some of the people I talked to this week are actually here today, so I appreciate that. And actually, I'm a full-time instructor at Dakota County Technical College, and back there is one of my former students. And if you ask, his name's Mario, and if you ask Mario what kind, how are my classes, one of the things he'd probably say is we eat all the time. I'm actually known as the potluck king of Dakota County Technical College. When I started teaching 14 years ago, I realized when you teach classes at night, people come to class and they're generally tired, they're beat up, and so it's hard to keep people awake. So one of the things I decided to do is let's start bringing in food. And so I became known as the potluck king of Dakota County Technical College. And there's actually I have a reputation at the college, and the reputation is this: if you take Bob's classes and you bring Bob food, you get good grades. 100% true. I have never had a food business start out of my program that did not get straight A's. So that's kind of my background, as I've taught people how to start businesses for like the last 14 years. And the idea of business planning is always something that everybody knows they need to do, but it's really hard for them to do. And I discovered that when most people hear the word business plan or business planning, a kind of a negative feeling comes over them, not unlike when they hear the word dentist. It's kind of the same thing. Most people do not like business planning. How many here have written and completed a formal business plan? Very good. But if you look at the hands, not everybody has their hand up here. And there's a lot of reasons why people don't write business plans. And so I'm going to give you a really easy way of doing business planning, which you probably won't find anything else. And by the way, has anybody here ever Googled business plan or business planning? If you do, you will find out that there are about 3.2 billion responses to business plan or business planning. And there's about 1,400 companies in the United States who will either sell you a business plan template or offer to write your business plan for you. Nobody can write your business plan for you. This is something you have to do yourself, because the purpose of business planning is not to get a plan. The purpose of business planning is to get your business inside of you. And once that business is inside of you, that's where your confidence comes from. And so I'm going to give you a really easy way of doing it. Let me give you a background on myself. I'm an entrepreneur and a business owner, and I've started and run 5 businesses. I'm actually an inventor, and back in the mid-90s, I invented a product called Video Buddy. And I took that product to market. I had national distribution in Target, national distribution in Toys R Us, and it was in virtually every video rental store in North America. And if you want to see it, I left it in my car. For some reason, I didn't bring it here. Anyway, that's how I learned all of this entrepreneur stuff. I actually did it from the street. And I started the business in '94. I didn't sell my first Video Buddy until late 1999, which meant I spent 5.5 years of my life doing nothing but trying to bring a product to market. And every time I turned around, I realized I was running out of money. So I got really, really good at raising money in this town. And I was able to raise a little over $6 million in angel financing for this product before I ever sold my first one of them. And this was before the internet, before crowdfunding, and before Shark Tank. So that's how I learned this stuff. By the way, this is a little off the subject. Are anybody in here, if you have to raise money for your business, Minnesota is an absolute wonderful place to raise money for, because we have this thing called the Angel Tax Credit. I don't know if you're aware of what the Angel Tax Credit is, but it's a wonderful program. And this year, the legislature is putting $15.6 million into the Angel Tax Fund. And what it means is if you're a registered angel investor and you invest in a Minnesota business, you get to write off 25% of that investment off your state income taxes that year. And it's a really good program. And because of that, we know there are about 4,000 licensed registered angel investors here in the state of Minnesota, and about 3,700 of them are here in the Twin City area. And by the way, for the first time this year in the Angel Tax Credit, 1/2 of all the angel tax funds have to go to women-owned and minority-owned businesses. So that's the first time that's happening this year. So anyway, I'm an entrepreneur and a business owner. I started and run 5 businesses. I'm an inventor. I have 2 patents on this thing called optical code technology. I've written over 20 formal business plans, used to raise about $6 million from local angel investors. By the way, the largest single check I ever got from one investor was $3 million. And a copy of that check is actually on my office wall at the college. And when I got that check, I didn't think I was getting a check. I thought we'd wire transfer funds or something like that. But I actually got a check. And so I immediately took that check and went to Kinko's and made 10 colored copies of that check. I was hoping I could cash another one. By the way, that doesn't work. But if you ever want to see a copy of a $3 million check, I have one. I'm business entrepreneur faculty at DCTC. I've been doing this for 14 years, and I absolutely love my job. I started teaching at the ripe old age of 52, so you can kind of figure out how old I am. And when I went into my first class, I'd never formally taught a class before. And I walked into my first class, and there were 15 budding new entrepreneurs. And within the first 5 minutes, I knew this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I never want to retire from teaching. I love my job. I want to die in the classroom. Not today, but I want to die in the classroom at some point in time. So that's how I learned a lot of this stuff. In 2006, I was an instructor of the year at the college. That was a popularity contest, and because we were eating all the time, the students kind of loved me. So that's how I got that. In 2008, however, I was given the award of the National Business Entrepreneur Instructor of the Year for all two-year colleges in the country. That was really cool. I got a big $1,000 check. And for about 15 seconds, I was actually famous. And what the college did at that time, they thought since I was famous, they'd put my picture on things. So the first thing they did, we had a truck driving program at DCTC, and they wrapped a 40-foot semi with my picture on it, and it going, you can start your own small business. That was actually really cool. I'd be driving around Lakeville and Rosemont, and I'd see my face on the side of a semi, and it didn't say, have you seen this child? It was really pretty cool. But then the college decided to use me in one other marketing tactic, and they were always trying new things. And they decided to use my picture in a marketing tactic called bathroom advertising. And it wasn't men's bathroom advertising, it was women's bathroom advertising. And I started getting calls from women about that they had seen me in a women's bathroom. One night I was home and pick up the phone, it was my wife's best friend, Mary. So I say, oh, hi, Mary, how are you? She says, fine. Let me get Diane, because when they get on the phone, they do this for a long period of time. And Mary goes, no, I want to talk to you. And I went, really? Why? She said, I want to tell you this. I was in the Green Mill in Eagan. I had to go to the bathroom. I went in the stall, I sat down, I closed the door, and there's your face staring at me. She said, it freaked me out so much I had to move to another stall, and I just wanted you to know that. So that's kind of my background. That was my one famous thing. I've actually taught a formal 3-credit business plan at DCT business plan class 43 times, and I've had to grade over 1,200 business plans. And I hate reading business plans. So I decided to come up with a really easy way of doing business planning. And I created it. It's called the 21-question success plan or business plan, and I'm actually going to offer it to you if you want it. One of the things I just did here, though, was I established my credibility as a teacher and as an author and as a business plan guy and everything else and being a fundraiser. One of the things I want to give you, that if you're running a business and you're the owner of that business, one of the things you need to do every time you meet somebody new is in the first 30 to 45 seconds, establish your credibility with that person. The results of this are absolutely phenomenal. So for example, if Ricardo over there, who you just met, was meeting somebody for the first time, he might say, hi, I'm Ricardo, I run my own marketing business, I've been in business for 18 years, I have 17 of the greatest employees around, we've done over 500 websites, my customers absolutely love me, and I'm all about results to help you grow your business. Now, tell me about what you're looking for. That little 30 to 45 second thing will change the way people look at you. In a highly competitive marketplace, this is one of the things you can do to stand out in a marketplace. And what does it take to do? 30 to 45 seconds of your life. If you're selling, and all of us have to sell if we're business owners, the biggest issue that we have is dealing with objections. And the biggest issue is the price objection. So this is one way of overcoming the price objection. This is one of the things I teach in my classes. So I actually had one of my students who was taking my classes was working for Fantastic Sam's. And she was from Russia. She's been over here about 4 years, and she wanted to open up her own salon. So we were talking about this establish your own credibility thing. And she said, well, at Fantastic Sam's, we're taught when a new person sits down in their chair, I'm supposed to say, hi, I'm Tanya. How would you like your hair cut today, or something like that? And she said, that's what we're supposed to do. And she said, what could I say to establish my credibility? And I asked her some questions. She'd been there for about 3 years. She's cut a lot of heads of hair and that kind of stuff. And so then she came up with a thing, and this is what she said when somebody new came down. She'd say, hi, I'm Tanya. I've been at Fantastic Sam's for over 3 years. I've cut over 4,000 heads of hair. I have over 75 people who won't let anybody but me touch their hair. I'm really good at what I do. Now, tell me about what you're looking for. and you never let the person say anything, you always ask them a question. Guess what? The first week she did that, she averaged $120 more in tips. It's something that most people don't do, but if you're going to be a business owner, one of the things I'm going to encourage you to do is whenever you meet somebody new, establish your credibility up front. And it's amazing what will happen. Somewhere, I did a class about 2 weeks ago for SCORE. I do some work for SCORE, and I did a business plan class, and it was a 2-night class. And I talked about this to 30 guys that were in there, and I got this email from a guy, and I'm sorry, I'm old. I have to put on my glasses to read the email that he sent me. No. Are those cheaters?
In the bottom, yeah.
Oh, I can't do that. Okay. Sorry, I have to have my cheaters. These are 175s. I have to have these. That's true. So I told about establishing your credibility. So one of the guys in there sells pet products, and he decided to try it. And he sent me this email, and he goes, "Hey, Bob, talk about results. I went into a local hardware store to pitch my pet treats. The appointment was 10 o'clock. Started out the conversation. Hello, my name is Dean Longden. I'm a veteran of the Armed Services, honorably discharged. This is my 18th year in the pet industry. I've successfully called on and placed pet products in 20 of the top 25 multi-unit pet specialty chains in North America." Whereupon the buyer said, "Wow, great intro." That day, he wrote up his first order in the state of Minnesota for $530. If you want to change the way you are compared to where everybody else is, and why you want to do this, nobody else does it. I would strongly encourage you to come up with 30 to 45 seconds that whenever you meet somebody new, you establish your credibility, don't let them say anything, and go right into asking questions. Because in selling, we're taught to ask questions right from the very beginning because you're trying to uncover needs, right? Do this little step first, and it will change how much business you're actually going to get. So I'd encourage you to do that. So let's talk about business planning. I just hit my mic, which means he is really freaking out on me back there. Okay, business planning sucks. Do I really have to do that? Yes, I believe you really do. Here's why. Creating a business plan actually helps guarantee the success of your new business or any business. Are you familiar with the magazine called Business Week? Business Week has an internet-only publication called Business Week Small Business. And about 10 years ago, they did a study of the importance of business planning. They did all kinds of white papers and surveys and everything else, and they published the results in Business Week Small Business, and this is what they said. Before I get into this, however, anybody know what the failure rate of businesses is nationwide? I don't like talking about failure, but you might as well get it out. No, actually not. First year, if 100 businesses start today, 1 year from now, about 25 of them are going to go away. So failure rates of businesses are 25% fail the first year. At next year, another 15% go down. Another year after that, about 10% go down. Somewhere in the neighborhood of if you start a business today, your chance of still being a business after 3 years is about 50-50. And it's kind of setting back. Unless you are opening up a non-franchised restaurant. There, the failure rate of businesses, according to the National Restaurant Association, is 50% in the first 9 months. And yet people keep opening up restaurants all day long. But going back to this Business Week small business thing, they did all this study and they published their results, and this is what they said. If you go through the business planning process prior to starting your business, and the key is prior to starting your business, your chance of still being in business after 3 years is not 50-50. It has risen now to 85% after 3 years. That's why business planning is so important. Yet most people don't want to do it because the process is so hard. Creating a business plan also confirms to you that you're starting the right business for you. I've taught a formal 3-credit business plan class 43 times in 14 years. The first time I ever taught the class, along about week 3 or 4, a number of the students would come up to me and they'd say, you know, I don't think this business is going to work. Can I change my business idea and start another business? I said, yeah, go ahead and do that. In that first semester, about 25% of the students changed their business idea during the course of the class. And I thought, wow, that's really weird. That must be an anomaly. 43 times later, I can tell you in every class I've taught, somewhere between 25 and 40% of the people who start their business plan or start their business going in with this idea either change that business completely, they throw that one out and start a different one, or the business they thought was going in that direction is now going in that direction. That's why you go through this process, and it is all about intuition. Going through this process gives you head stuff and heart stuff, but it's really this part of your body that's really telling you if this business is going to succeed or not. That's why you got to go through this. If this is your first time starting a business, creating a business plan is actually the best education you're ever going to get on your specific business. Now in a little bit, I'm going to give you an offer. If you want to connect with me, I'll send you a bunch of free stuff. One of the things I want to send you is a little book I wrote called The Interview Assignment. And the interview assignment is something I require all my students to do, which is this: whatever business it is you want to start, go talk to somebody who's already doing that business and ask them a whole bunch of questions. The only stipulation I have is you don't talk to somebody who could be your competition. I think that's unethical. But this little book will tell you how to do it, when to do it, and what questions to ask. And at Dakota County Technical College, we've done over 1,800 interviews in the last 14 years. Sometimes a person goes out, does an interview, comes back, and they come back to class, report to the class, and they say, I'm not doing that business anymore, because they learned something they didn't know. But in general, you're getting a PhD education on your specific business. That's how you learn this stuff. And I'd be happy to send you the little book as well. You can buy it on Amazon for 10 bucks, but why would you? I will give it to you for free. Creating a business plan also gets you comfortable with the financial aspects of business. Back there, the financial guy knows finances and business is something that you have to have, yet a lot of people are scared of the finances of business. They don't know the difference between a cash flow statement, a balance sheet. They don't know the terminology of accounting. If that's you, get an education. This is not that hard. Anybody can learn this stuff. But going through this planning process does require you to actually do this. And here's one you might not have thought of. Just because you do a plan is one thing, if you're doing it for yourself. Presenting that plan to other people is really important. And the other part of it is speaking what you write is even more important. And so I would encourage you, whatever you write for your business, speak it out loud, because you hear it with a different set of ears. And there's two great places where you can go to get free one-on-one help with your business that you can present plans to. One is called SCORE, and one is called the SBDC. Do I need to tell you where you have to go to find out about this stuff? If I do, SCORE, the website is score-mn.org. And in the Twin City area, there's 3 chapters of SCORE. The SBDC stands for Small Business Development Center. And where you go to find out about that is the website sba.gov. And both of these are free, where you can get one-on-one help with your business. So I think you have to do one. So how do you do it? I'm going to give you a new way of doing business planning. It's just a really easy way of doing it, because all you do is answer 21 questions. One of the problems I found I really had an issue with when I was teaching business plan is this issue of marketing. Ricardo already did this. He asked for your definition of marketing, and 4 or 5 people responded, and guess what? You got 4 or 5 different answers. If I would tell everybody in here to write down your definition of marketing, I'm going to get, however many people are in here, different answers. Marketing is this big. How do you create a plan for something that's this big? And so that became one of the issues for me when I was teaching this stuff. So I created a really easy way of doing it. And this all came about because in 2011, I was teaching classes, but I was doing everything in the classroom. If you can't figure it out, I'm a classroom guy, and I have to eat, and that's a nice way for me to do it. In 2011, however, I was called into my dean's office, which is not a good thing. And the phone call from the dean says, Bob, you and I need to talk. Get up here now. Ooh, this is really serious. I figured, okay, I must have pissed off another student. Oh, I shouldn't say that either. I must have done something to a student. So I go into the dean's office, she closes the door, and she says, Bob, I noticed none of your classes are online. And I went, oh, that's what we're going to talk about. I said, yeah, I know, none of my classes are online. I don't like online learning. I'm a classroom kind of guy. I think online learning sucks. I don't think people learn in an online environment. And then she said to me, Bob, I really think you should consider online learning. And I said, no, I don't want to. I don't like online learning. I think it's stupid. I don't want to do it. And then she said to me, Bob, here's the deal. If you don't have half your program online in the next 2 years, you're not going to be working here anymore. And I said, oh, I guess I better like online learning. So I decided to put my business plan class online in 2011. And when I was trying to take the traditional business plan and put it into an 8-week class where you actually work 7 weeks, I couldn't do it. And if you've never done a business plan, here's a traditional business plan. It starts with an executive summary. Usually has background information. Then you have a competitive analysis. You might have a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Then you might have a marketing plan. Then you got to do 3 to 5 years of projections. Then you have a management team. Then you got an appendix. And that's how I taught business planning for 11 years before that. Now I had to put that online. And one of the things I knew about online learning is you can't load up 1 week with all the assignments. You got to kind of get it so everybody's working at the same amount. Well, in the classes that I do at the college, I was trying to teach, when I do this, I do 1 night a week, and so they do like 3 assignments. So in a 7-week class in that they're working, I'm trying to figure out how to put this in there, and I couldn't do it. And all of a sudden one morning I came up with an epiphany. And the epiphany was this: let's screw traditional business plans. Let's throw it out. It hasn't been changed in 200 years. Let somebody change it. So I decided to change it. And I came up with the idea of just asking 21 questions. And where the number 21 came from, class goes for 8 weeks, but you really only work for 7 weeks. I like 3 assignments a week. 7 times 3 is 21. And the minute I said that, I knew exactly what the 21st question was. And the 21st question is this: what proof do you have that your business is going to succeed? Anybody here watch Shark Tank? It's a great show. But it is reality TV, just be aware of that. Next time, when you watch Shark Tank, I know there people are pitching their ideas and everything else. Listen to the proof that people are coming in with, and you will be able to determine for yourself which of the businesses are going to get funded or not. When Ricardo was starting his business and he had 0 customers, he didn't have a lot of proof. Now that he's been in business for 18 years, done over 500 websites, he's got a bunch of proof that's this big. And in a highly competitive marketplace, whoever has the most proof wins. And so that became the 21st question, so I just backed it down from there. And I came up with another 20 questions. Where did the 20 questions come from? I have done over 300 one-on-one investor presentations to high net worth individuals to raise $6 million over a 6-year period. I know every question that you're going to get asked. I know bank presidents. I know venture capitalists. All the questions that they're going to ask are in this plan anyway. So why not just answer the questions that people are going to ask anyway? And that's what I did. I came up with 21 questions, and I'm going to give you the 21 questions. And by the way, the only question I have never been asked, but I had to put it in there, was question number 10. I'm not going to tell you what question number 10 is. Lynn over here knows exactly what question number 10 is because she just sent me an email. She was in a free class that I did, when, 2 days ago? Yesterday. God, that was fast. And she already did some work on some stuff, and she already sent me that she now knows what the question number 10 is. If you want the 21 questions and you give me your email, I'll be happy to send them out to you so you get to know what the 21 questions are. But look at question 10. It really is that important. That's how I did all this stuff. It didn't fit, so I actually developed a 21 question. Here's the 21 questions. I'm sorry, I forgot this slide was in here. When you do a 21 question business plan, plans are usually, let me show you a couple plans here. This is the exact business plan I used to get a $3 million check from some guy. It was really a beautiful business plan. It took me about 80 pages, it's about 80 pages long. It took me almost 2 months to put together. It's about 80 pages long. It's got color graphics, and the last 22 pages all look like this. When you were raising the money I was raising, all of my finances had to be looked at by a CPA firm and blessed by a legitimate CPA firm. I used McGladrey in Poland. They had charged me $6,000 to audit my finances. That was required when you were raising the type of money I was doing. Now, this plan was the most excruciating thing I've ever done in my life. Was it worth it? Yeah, 3 weeks after I got this completed, I got a check for $3 million, but I didn't know I was going to get a check for $3 million. That's not where business planning is today. Here's a new, different way of doing business planning. Let me show you another business plan, if I can find it here. Here it is. This is another business plan. This was done by 2 brothers who took one of my classes, one of my free classes that I do at workforce centers, and they opened up a business over in Eden Prairie called Prime Signs. This is their business plan, using the 21 question format. It's really pretty simple. It's 1 page, 2 page, whoops, 3 page, and all they do is answer questions. 1 page of this. The new model right now, 1 year of financials. If you can't get to positive cash flow in 1 year, then you may have to go 2, but 1 year is really all you have to do right now. Why? Because every banker investor knows that if you go out past a year, it's all BS anyway, because all you're doing is guessing. And so the first year is really that critical. And then this last page was all the product, or all the stuff they had to buy for their business. This plan took them exactly, 2 brothers, 20 hours to put together. And after they did this plan, their gut told them, yep, this is a really good business to do. So they started the business. And this became their first business plan. But they also learned from me that business planning is not something you do once. Business planning, a business plan is a living document. It has to be looked at on a very regular basis. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So they're usually 5 to 7 pages long. You also don't have to write in narrative. If you know what writing in narrative is, it's sentences and paragraphs. one of the things I discovered is most people either don't like to write or do not consider them good writers. In fact, let me take a little survey. How many people in this room truly like to write or believe you are a really good writer? Raise your hand. If you look around the room, there's maybe 25% of the people in here. So automatically, the other people that didn't raise your hand are going, I don't want to write a business plan. I don't like to write, and I'm not good at it. So I came up with a way of doing it without having to write a narrative. You answer questions and highlights and bullet points. It becomes a really easy way of doing it. You don't have to write a narrative. Every question has been asked me except question 10. I already told you that. Usually you do 12 months of financials. And Bob's philosophy is this. If you're going to go through the business planning process, you get in and you get it done as fast as possible. At the end of that period, in hours, you listen to what your gut is telling you. If your gut is saying, yes, go ahead and do this, then start the business, knowing that the plan's going to change anyway. If your gut tells you, well, I'm kind of not sure, then you better do a little more work. If your gut tells you, I don't think this is going to work, then dump it, get rid of the idea right now and go on to something else. You want to get it through this process quickly, get into it, and then go forward. Now, if you're having to do what I did, was have a 5.5 year startup phase and have to raise a whole lot of money, you may have to do more in the financial area. And bankers and investors will ask for more things. They may need 2 years or 2.5, but nobody needs 3 to 5 years of financials anymore. So get your plan done fast. So here are the 21 questions. Question 1 through 5 are all about you and your business idea. 6 through 8 are about research, competition, and competitive advantages. 9 through 12 are about prices, margin, and first year sales. And since question 10 is buried in there, you might have an idea of what question 10 is actually going to be. 13 does not use the word marketing. I use getting known by your customers. And when you're starting out your business and you think about the word marketing, it's a very complex topic. So I ask 4 questions. First question is, who exactly is your target market? Because everything starts with who your target market. First thing Ricardo's going to ask, if he's meeting with a new client, is who is the market for these people? Because he can't build anything unless you know who that market is. Am I correct? The elk. There you go. He's a great white hunter. He kills elephants and elks. Okay, he doesn't kill anything. Okay, the second question is, what tactics are you going to use to get your information into the hands of your target market? The third is, what messages do you want people to remember about you? And the fourth one, and this is something that goes into a habit, which is what are you doing on a continual or consistent basis to constantly get new business? I teach in my classes this thing called a CAP. CAP stands for Customer Acquisition Plan. If you're running a business, I believe you need to spend somewhere between 4 to 6 hours each week doing nothing but going out after new business. And you make that time the same every week because that's what gets it into you. That becomes a habit. It's about 4 to 6 hours each week and you do nothing but go out after new business and don't let anything else get in the way to it. If you're looking for a way of guaranteeing that your business isn't going to be hit by inflation and everything else, spend some time every week or every day going out after new business. One of my former students who runs a very successful virtual assistant business spends 1 hour every morning between 8 and 9, and that's all she does during that time, is keep looking out, keep reaching out, keep finding new prospects. She has never been without enough customers to make what she wants to make. Over here, I heard talking about goals. If you're going to start a business and you want that business to be successful, you need to start with specific goals for that business to accomplish. I've helped a lot of people start businesses, and I can tell you that most new small business owners generally suck in 2 major areas when they're starting out. The first area that they suck at is that they usually don't charge enough for their products or services, which means it's very difficult for them to make a living at what they're doing. But the other area is even worse. Most businesses are starting today without having any specific goals for that business to accomplish. So what do I think your first goal should be? I think, as he pointed out, it's all about you. You need to pay yourself first, right? Didn't you say that? That's exactly right. You need to set a specific goal for your business of how much money do you want to make each month from that business. That's the starting point of building a business plan. Because in reality, especially in the first year, it's all about you. The reason businesses fail so much in the first year is that the business owner isn't able to pay themselves what they needed because it takes longer to get into the marketplace or something like that. I just encourage you to set some goals for your business. So questions 13 through 16 are about getting known by your customers. 17 through 20 are about financials. And the 21st question is, what proof do you have that your business is going to succeed? So what's the real purpose of actually going through the business planning process? The purpose of going through this is to get the business inside of you, to get the plan in here. That's what has to happen. Bankers, investors do not invest in business plans. Bankers and investors do not invest in products or services. Bankers, investors invest in people. And in order for you to have the confidence that somebody's going to trust you and give you money, you've got to have what you're going to do inside of you. That's why you do it. Remember, the process is more important than the plan itself. You must speak your plan in order to make it real. Presenting your plan to others is critical. And here's another tip I'm going to give you. Make the first of each month, first day of the month, which is today is March 1st, spend some time each on that day doing what I call RAP Day. RAP stands for Review, Analyze, and Project. Once a month, you need to get in the habit of looking backwards, review what happened that much from a financial standpoint, from a customer standpoint, anything else. Then you analyze that. You look at, was it good, was it bad, did this happen, did that happen, and then you project out for the next month. If you get in the habit of making the first of each month the most important day, that's really going to change your business. So, January 1 of this year, football's on. I have nothing else to do other than watch football, right? Guess what? I actually did my wrap on January 1 of this year, getting ready for the new year. And by the way, this is not something you just do once or at the beginning of the year. This is every month. This is every month you do this. Make one day of the month the most important day. So if you want the 21 questions, you can have them. I'll give them to you, or you can buy my book. I actually have a book. It's the same book that's used at the college. It's actually sold in the bookstore. You can buy it on Amazon for $27, or you can buy it on my website, bizownertraining.com, for $25. If you buy it on my website, but wait, there's more. I'm going to give you some other stuff. I'm going to send you an online assessment I created called Will My New Business Succeed?, which is an online assessment. It takes about 25 minutes to do, which will tell you if your business is going to succeed before it actually starts. And I just completed 2 brand new, I used them last semester for the first time, what are called projection workbooks. They're both done in Excel, one for a service-related business, one for a product-related business. It makes the whole financial projection thing so simple to do. So I'd encourage you to do that. It's $25 and you can pay me money because I don't bring books here. Or if you email me at this address, bvoss@bizownertraining.com, if you want to see me afterwards, I'll give business cards to anybody. If you email me and say, I want the 21 questions, then I will send them out to you, and I'll send you also an interview book as well. That's why I want to give you this, because I want to make you to have business planning as an easy thing. So remember, plans are nothing, but planning is everything. That was old Dwight said that. And I've always been a big fan of Napoleon Hill. And so Napoleon Hill said, reduce your plan to writing. The moment you do this, you have definitely given concrete form to the intangible desire. That's it. I'm done. How did I do? Did I get done in time? Thank you.